So I've called tonight's class Easing into Space with the Breath. So I've been theming all these classes a little bit along with my experience and probably your experience of lockdown. And we're now moving into the phase of easing out of lockdown, of easing into re-experiencing the freedoms that we used to be so used to and take for granted. And I suppose my message to you in this class is that we've always had access to as much inner space as we want. So we're going to ease into that inner space by creating space in the breath, space in the body through our yoga stretching, space in the joints through our mobilization practices, and also preparing ourselves to ease back into the space that is the social space as well. So we'll begin with a little bit of breath work. I'm sitting in a chair. Some of you will be in a chair and some of you will be sitting cross-legged on the mat. Whichever position you're in, just make sure your spine feels really effortlessly upright. I've got a yoga block under my feet just to raise the floor, to give me that extra sense of connection to the earth through the feet and through the chair. And I'm just sitting a little way away from the back of the chair so that I'm not slumping and losing that lovely set of spinal curves, which we call the neutral spine. And then just resting the hands in a comfortable position on the knees or the thighs, and then closing your eyes. But if you don't want to close your eyes, just have your eyes downcast and softly focused. Just take a moment now to notice exactly how you're feeling as you start this class in your body, your breath, and your mind. And a reminder that we do that with a really neutral awareness antenna and without any judgment. So if you're feeling low in energy or stressed or anxious or anything else, don't worry about it. And equally, if you're feeling on top of the world, full of energy, buzzing, that's fine too. We're not attaching to either of those. Just noticing where we're starting our practice from tonight. And particularly being aware of anything in our body that we're looking after and making sure that we do look after ourselves during the practice. And then begin to tune into your breath. And what I'd like you to do is focus first on the diaphragm, the breath down into the belly. And we're going to do some hand movements with this breathing. So as you breathe in, you're just going to take the palms slightly wider. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring the palms together, not all the way together. It's a bit like manipulating breath and energy. If you imagine a field of energy between the hands, which is the breath, which is representing in the yoga tradition the expansion and contraction of prana, of subtle energy, represented and moved by the breath in the energy body. And this movement also just reflects the fact that the diaphragm has this dome shape, and the movement of the breath into the lower part of the lungs, into the belly, using the diaphragm, is quite a spherical shape to the breath. And then we've been doing this practice a few times in the classes I've been teaching. We're going to move from this to feeling an upward direction to the breath. And we're going to represent that by the turning of the palms. So now the hand will be breathing in. This is the abdominal breath. And then as you feel a lifting part of the breath, which is when the rib cage begins to lift, that is when the external intercostal muscles just take over from the diaphragm, like a little clever relay action. This muscle begins the breath, these muscles take it over and really lift the rib cage. There's quite a lot of effort there to lift the weight of the rib cage. So it's a very noticeable expansion and then lift, and we turn the palms upwards. And then as we exhale, we feel the rib cage sinking back down, mainly due to gravity. And then we are turning the palms back in and bringing them back. So now we've got this movement. And the breath is expressing itself about 80% now. It's about 50 or 60% with the diaphragm down into the abdomen and the lower ribs. And then another 40% approximately of capacity is created by this lifting of the rib cage. And exhale has this lovely effortless quality. So expansion and lift as you breathe in, release, and a narrowing and contracting of the breath as you breathe out. And then the last element we'll feed into this is inhale into the tummy, turn the palms, inhaling into the lift. And last of all, just pointing the fingers up to indicate the collarbones lifting, to give you the last 10%. You don't need to do anything conscious. Just as you fill the last 10% of your lung capacity, you will feel a little subtle contraction of the neck muscles, which will lift the collarbones and the top of the rib cage and just give you access to that additional little bit of lung capacity. Exhale, straighten the fingers, lower the hands, turn the palms in. So now we've got 3 hand positions, but they're just going to blend with the breath. And if you're enjoying doing this with the eyes open, just keep the eyes open. And if you would like to close the eyes, feel free to do that. And I'm going to let you explore this breath for about another 3 or 4 breaths and invite you to really fully express the smoothness and depth and fullness of your own inhale, and allow that exhale to have a much more releasing and relaxing quality. And also allowing this breath to have this samavriti, sama meaning same, quality to it. So there is a feeling of inhale and exhale being about the same length. We're not counting, we're just feeling that inhale and exhale have a similar length. And then the next time you exhale, just release the hands down. Keep the eyes closed just for a moment longer and notice if you have eased into any space, maybe a sense of space in your breath, a sense of space in the spine. And if the mind has slowed down a little and you're feeling a little bit more aware, we could call that a sense of space in the mind, because the gaps between thoughts are just getting a little bit wider. Okay, that's fantastic. We're gonna move down onto the mat now. As I said at the beginning, if you've just joined, we're going to use the chair as a little bit of a prop for part of the class, so you will need a chair if possible. And as you make your way down to the mat, just lie on your back and draw the knees in over the chest. And then rock yourself gently from side to side. And you'll know that I'm very much in favour of having a blanket under the back of the head. This is important for most practitioners, myself included. So if you're feeling that the chin is any higher than the forehead, please think about placing a blanket or a yoga block or a cushion under the back of the head, so the back of the neck can really get some space. You can ease into space in your neck as well. And that will really help with this practice, because as we rock the knees from one side to one side, we're going to roll the head the opposite way. So this is actually the beginnings of our spinal twisting that we're going to be doing tonight. Twisting isn't our main focus, but we're still always going to be doing twisting poses in every class because they're vital for the overall health of the spine. And then next time you come to center, you can either keep the hands around the shins or around the back of the thigh. Arms are straight, but the shoulders are relaxed. The shoulders are sliding down the back, coming away from the ears. And as you exhale, just gently bending the elbows, drawing the knees in. As you inhale, let the arms straighten again. So just get into a little rhythm of that. And you know, often these very simple, subtle physical practices can be the ones that really speak to us most loudly. So see if you can place your awareness in the lower back and the back of the pelvis and really experience the easing into space that you're probably feeling there. And each time you exhale, as long as you haven't eaten a large meal recently, you might find the thighs are coming a little bit closer in towards the abdomen, just giving the abdomen a little bit of a massage there and deepening the stretch in the lower part of the back and the pelvis. And then the next time we inhale, we're going to keep hold of this right knee and just take the left foot flat on the mat to begin with. So this will be a progressive movement, and you can just do the simple version I'm going to show you now, or you can move on with me and do slightly more challenging versions. So just continue. Working one leg will probably enable you to go a little bit deeper. So inhale, arms straight, exhale, drawing the thigh in. If that feels okay, have a go at doing this with the left leg straight. And once you've got that left leg straight, if you're doing that, try and ease into space in the back of that left knee. Engage the left quad and draw the toes back, push the heel away, and feel as if you're spreading the bones of the foot on that left side. And as you're doing that, just hold this right knee in a comfortable drawn in position and rotate the right ankle. And any clicking in that right ankle is absolutely fine. In fact, the clicking mainly comes from the bones of the feet, round in the other direction, and then pull the toes back, spread the toes just like you're doing on the left foot, and then exhale, point the toe and squeeze the toes under. Inhale, pull the toes back, let the arms straighten, and then exhale, coming in a little more deeply on the out breath and working hard to keep this left leg straight. 2 more times, inhale and exhale. Inhale, arms straight, and exhale. Okay, we're going to just do something with this left leg that I don't think we've done before in my classes for those who are regular. So you might just want to watch the screen for a second. So as we breathe in, we're going to let this, in fact, we'll just keep the right knee fairly close in and just deepen it, the drawing in at the end of the exhale. So we can focus a little bit more on the left leg. So we're going to breathe in and bring the knee in over the chest. And then as we breathe out and squeeze this right leg in, we're going to straighten the leg. This is the stronger version, and then lower that straight leg. So this is going to strengthen the leg muscles and the hip flexor. And with the right knee pulled in, this is going to stabilize the pelvis while we do that work. So maybe have a go at that if it's going to be safe for you. Breathing in, the knee comes in over the chest. Breathing out, extending and lowering the leg. And all the time we do this, we are maintaining that feeling of a very steady, equal breath, the Samavriti ratio, equal inhale and exhale. So the muscle that we're strengthening as we do this, the hip flexor, is the one that gets quite short from sitting around all day. So this is a good practice to both give that muscle a little bit of length when the leg is straight and a little bit of strength as the knee comes in. And then the next time we breathe in and the left knee comes in, we're just going to swap hands, take the right foot down, and going to do the same movements. So exhaling, drawing the left knee in now, inhaling, releasing the knee away, and remembering that this gentle version is one that you can stay with if you don't want to do the stronger versions. On the next inhale, if it's okay for you, you're going to do the straightening of the right leg now, pushing the heel away, pulling the toes back, spreading the toes, keeping the left knee drawn in, and then rotating the left ankle and rotating in the other direction. Just creating some space in the joints of the foot and the ankle. And then pulling the toes back, pushing the heel away, and then pointing the foot away, scrunching the toes under. Very nice. Breathing in and breathing out, drawing the thigh in. Inhale and exhale. And then bringing in that movement with the right leg, extending and lowering on the out breath. So just work with your own breath for a few more times, creating both space in the hips and the hip flexor, but also strength. So a contraction doesn't have to lead to a loss of space. And then just one more of those. And next time you extend the leg, release the left leg, slide that leg straight as well, and give both legs a little bounce up and down. Release any tension there. And then we're going to bring the knees in over the chest, take one hand onto each knee and draw the knees wide apart, and then really take some time with this one. So breathing in for half a circle, draw the knees together. Breathing out, push the knees away, take them wide. And each circling of the knees and each breath has this mirroring quality of the legs mirroring the breath mirroring the legs. So it becomes a very meditative, slow and mindful opening of the hips. It's very likely that the hips will be getting a little bit stiff if you've been doing a lot of sitting around. Although some of the studies are showing that we're actually taking more exercise during lockdown than before. So if that's you, then well done. And then reverse the direction of the circles. And just imagine yourself easing into space here, that each of these rotations is creating a slightly bigger ripple in the pond. The circle is moving outwards. There's a real sense of fluidity and softness coming into the hips, because each time you do these really wide, slow rotations, the ball, the head of the femur, as it moves around the inside of the hip joint, is sending a little wave of synovial fluid ahead of it that is lubricating all the surfaces of that joint that would normally not get a lot of movement, because we just use these hips more like a hinge joint to get from chair to chair. So next time the knees come together, we'll take the feet down we'll slide the legs straight once more. And we're going to breathe in and take a long stretch all the way overhead. And at the end of that inhale, which needs to be as long as you can comfortably make it, come back into that feeling of really lengthening the body, pulling the toes back, spreading the bones of the feet and the hands. And then a long exhale to bring the arms back and finish with the palms facing upwards and the legs relaxing and rolling outwards. When you feel the next in-breath arising, come back into the stretch, make it more and more active throughout that inhale, almost like a beginning, a middle and an end of the stretch. And then as you feel the exhale coming, beginning to soften, just enough effort to bring the arms back and melting into softness at the end of the exhale. There can be a little pause in this practice at the end of the in-breath, at the end of this great big stretch. And as you move into the softness phase of the exhale, and at the end of the exhale, the out-breath is completed. And there's that moment of pause before the next inhale comes in. So use this practice to really ease yourself into the fullest expression of your breath so far. And that is possible because of the way in which we're opening the whole of the front of the body. And we're actually not only working a lot of muscles that you can probably feel being worked in the active stretching phase, but we're also doing a back bend here and a shoulder release. So lots of things that will help us find space in the body. So just one more of these. And then we're going to come into our second spinal twist. So for this one, we're going to, I'm just moving away from the chair a little bit, and also to give you a slightly better view of the movement in and out. So the arms are extending away at shoulder height. And you can either do this with the feet hip width apart or feet together. And when you've done a few, if you're a more able student and you don't have any lower back issues, and you're used to working with the feet off the ground, you can move in and out of the twist with the feet off the ground. But at the end of the exhale, do release the feet down. Don't hover them. That will be too intense on the muscles of the abdomen. So let's ease ourselves in, breathing in. Head is central, knees are central. Breathing out, knees are going right. The head is rolling to the left. Inhale, head and knees to center. Exhale, knees to the left, head to the right. Might already be time just to move the feet a little bit closer or completely together. And as you do that, you'll feel the twist moving a little bit higher up the back. So just two things to watch out for here. Think of your two shoulder blades as the anchor for this twist. And even though you can't feel a lot of weight going down to the ground through them, feel as if you are gently pressing the shoulder blades down. So if your knees are going to the left, that right shoulder blade really needs to not move. It needs to remain anchored. And if it is lifting, then you should probably take the feet a little bit wider and find a twist that is not going to disturb the foundation of this pose. So we're going to go once more to the right and the left. And then when you come back to center, draw the knees in, take another little rock from side to side. We're going to use a yoga belt now to stretch out the hamstrings. And we'll take the belt around the right foot. This is a stretch we've been doing almost every week. I've been teaching almost every week in all the different Zoom classes that I'm doing at the moment. So left foot is flat on the floor, the belt is in the right leg. The in-breath position has a good deal of bend in the knee, so enough bend to feel that this right hamstring is not tight, it's not under any stress whatsoever. That's important. And then as you exhale, you're just going to ease yourself into the stretch. And that might mean the leg going completely straight, or staying a little bit bent, or going straight and coming in a little bit. So it depends on your hamstring length and flexibility. Breathing in, release the stretch. Breathing out, come into it. Keep the back of the pelvis on the mat at all times. Keep this left foot on the mat at all times. And now you've got the movement, just drop your awareness back into the breath. Find that equal and full inhale and exhale. And the intention that I invited you to have at the beginning of making the exhale very effortless is going to be really helpful when we're doing stretching like this. So breathing in, effort to breathe in, knee bends. Exhale, moving into the stretch, and effortless exhale. Feel yourself easing into space in the back of the leg, easing into space with your breath. And if that is feeling okay, then on the next exhale, we're going to hold the stretch for 3 more breaths. But if that feels too intense, then just continue with the dynamic version of this stretch. And then on your next inhale, let the knee bend and just release the belt from that right leg. Take the right leg down and slide both legs straight. And just take a moment to relax the legs and notice the different feedback from the right leg and the left leg. And notice how successful you've probably been in creating a sense of ease and space and release in that right leg. And still the contraction, the less space in the left, which hasn't yet had the stretch. So coming back into semi-supine, taking the belt around the left foot and working exactly the same way, using the back of the pelvis as a foundation, the right foot as a foundation, and then switching your focus to the breath. Inhale, knee bends. Effortless exhale, release yourself into the space of the stretch. And as you work, just keeping the space in the shoulders as well. If the shoulders have risen up at all, slide them down. And on your next exhale, if you held the stretch on the right side, let this left leg stay in the stretch for 3 more breaths. And then breathing in, bend the knee, release the belt, slide both legs straight again, come into the softness, relax the legs, and be aware of the sense of space and ease that is hopefully now there in both legs. So we're going to move on now and come onto all fours. And this is where I'm going to invite you to perhaps make the first use of the chair. You don't have to use it. I'll show you what I mean and then you can choose. So if you do have any wrist or shoulder issues, this is how you're going to do your cat. You're going to rest the forearms on the chair and you're going to breathe in and then breathe out. So it's exactly the same spinal movement, but much less weight through the arms, shoulders and wrists. If you want to do a more traditional cat, have the hands, fingers spread, hands 6 inches in front of the shoulders, knees hip width apart, padding under the knees, and then beginning to find a whole spine undulation. So we've spoken about this frequently in my classes, that it's very easy to lose your awareness in the movement of the neck and the lower back. So by all means, let those two areas flow as they want to in the cat, but deny them too much attention and contain the movement there, and instead have your focus right at the center of the body, around the heart, between the shoulder blades, and lifting the thoracic spine as high as you can on exhale, and allowing it to sink with gravity's help down between the shoulder blades into the open back bend position every time you breathe in. And then on the next inhale, just coming back to your starting position. If you've been using the chair, you can rest the forehead on the seat of the chair. If you've been on your hands on the mat, take the hips back, make a pillow with the hands, or use a yoga block. Just take a rest there for a moment. And then on the next inhale, coming up, and just see how it is for you to sit in this position with the toes tucked under. So that could well be not the most comfortable place you've been today, in which case you can take the hands forward, and the further you take the hands forward, the less weight will go through the toes. So find a comfortable position where you can move the hips from side to side so that all of the toes are being stretched and the whole of the soles of the feet are being stretched. If you can sit all the way back here and do that movement, then your feet have already got a very good amount of flexibility. And then we're going to come back into the cat position. We're going to untuck the toes and just extend the right leg. And we're going to do a little bit of bending the knee and rolling onto the tops of the toes. And as we inhale and extend the leg straight, we're pushing through the heel and rolling back over the toes, taking them the other way. So this movement is, again, not a lot of weight in the toes. There are other ways of doing this, which I'm not going to teach you tonight, where you can take a lot more weight through the toes. So let's just shift onto the other foot now. And then coming back to your starting position. So we're going to do a little dynamic dog, and then some of you are going to come into holding the dog. As I'm on the mat already, I'm going to show you the mat version of this. Again, if you've got wrist or shoulder issues, we can do this pose using the chair. So breathing in, toes are tucked under. Breathing out, shifting the head down and the hips up into the air. Keep a nice bend in the knees, and then inhale, press through the hands and lift the sit bones high. And exhale, take the knees down. And any time you could do one of those or 5 of those and then come back down into resting pose. Or you can just carry on if you want to do more. And if you're using the chair, it's important the chair is stabilized by being against the wall, or in this case, the sofa. So there we are, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale, coming back down. So just working dynamically from the mat or using the chair. And then some of you are going to come into a held dog, maybe in the next breath or two, the next little sequence there, and really allow the spine to remain long. Do a little bit of engagement through the lower abdominal muscles. And we're really using this pose to lengthen the spine and engage the core. But if you're in the held position, you can stretch the legs a little bit more by taking the heels towards the mat, as long as that doesn't make the back round. Okay, and then if you're still in your dog, take the knees down, come into resting pose, either using the floor or using the chair. Just notice how you feel. More weight bearing, more muscular effort through the shoulders and the arms. But when done mindfully, that can also still maintain and create space in the shoulders and the body. So we're always trying to do postures in a way that are not going to ease us away from space. They're going to always be easing us towards space. So we'll come up now and we'll face the chair. And we're going to do a sun salutation, and we're going to include a lunge in this. So you'll remember that this sun salutation can be done standing or in a chair. So if you or a friend is not able to do standing, then the version that we're doing standing works absolutely fine in a chair as well. And you'll see that it looks something like this, only a lot slower. So we want everybody to be included if possible. So facing your chair, standing with the feet hip width apart, hands in front of the heart. The feet should feel really well connected to the mat and the earth, because we've been doing some good work there to awaken them. So inhale, draw the shoulders back, palms are facing forward, so-called cactus arms. And then breathing out, bending the knees, taking the hands onto the thighs and bringing the spine parallel to the floor. Just a little tuck of the chin. This is a gentle first forward bend. Inhale, flatten the back, and you can hover the hands here if you want to work more strongly. Exhale, folding more deeply. Let the legs straighten if you can. Breathing in, come up flat back, push through the legs, open the heart. Exhale, step the right foot onto the chair for your lunge. Notice this standing leg is slightly angled forwards. So this would be a less deep lunge. And if I was standing a little bit further away from the chair, this would be a deeper lunge. So you just need to find the right depth of practice for you, where you can keep that left heel rooting down to the mat without turning the foot out. And that will give you the stretch through the Achilles and the calf. That means it's working correctly. And through the front of the left thigh, which is going into the hip flexor. It's actually also stretching the rectus abdominis here, because we've got the hands on the hips and we're drawing the shoulders back. So you can see a lovely curve here through the spine and through the leg. This is actually a back bend position, but just for the left side of the body. And then we're going to bring the palms together. Make sure you're feeling really stable, feet are hip width apart. Your feet are a little bit narrow, you might feel wobbly. So right foot towards the right side of the chair, left foot is on the mat, but level with the left side of the chair. Inhale, open the palms. Exhale, bring the palms together. 2 more times, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And now we're going to bring the hands down onto the seat of the chair, keeping the arms straight, turn the head, look down, and this might already feel quite significant in its opening effect, its space creating effect in the right hip. But if you can do more, just let the elbows bend. So not forcing yourself down, just bend the elbows, let gravity take you a little bit deeper into that right hip. 2 breaths here. When we do this as a flow, we'll just be holding these positions for 1 breath. Inhale, straighten the arms, bring the hands back onto the thigh. Exhale, step the right leg off, step the left leg on. And again, take a moment by just slowing down and feeling the lunge in our bodies. By holding it, we'll have much more of an idea about where we want to place the feet when we do this more in a flow and there's only 1 breath to think about placement. Keep the spine open. This time you're feeling the stretch all the way down the right side. Remember that back foot doesn't want to turn out. Feel the stretch through the Achilles and the calf and through the front of the right thigh. Palms together. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, and close. Inhale, ease into the space. This is probably the most space creating physical practice that we're going to do tonight. Space between the ribs, in the shoulders, in the back bend, in the front tissues of the body, the rectus femoris, the rectus abdominis, all the way down to that right heel. On the next exhale, bringing the hand onto the left thigh and then down onto the mat, starting with the arms straight. Inhale, looking down. Exhale, softening into that left hip. Hopefully enjoying that sensation. It can be quite intense, so don't feel you have to bend the arms if that hip is stiff. And using that equal, easy breath, trying to ease yourself into the space that you are creating, undoubtedly creating in that left hip. Breathing in, let the arms straighten, bring the hands back up. Exhale, release. Palms in front of the heart, inhale, reach up. Exhale, sway to the right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, to the other side. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, hands to center. So we're going to try that sequence more as a flow, and we're going to use the chime track. Palms together. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, hands to thigh, easy forward bend. Inhale, flatten the back, hover the hands if you want to. Exhale, deeper forward bend. If you need to keep the head level with the heart, just straighten the legs. Bend the knees flat back, coming up. Exhale, right leg is coming onto the chair. Inhale, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, hold position. Inhale, palms together, draw the palms apart. Exhale, palms together, hands down. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, soften the elbows if you can. Inhale, straighten the arms coming up. Exhale, release, give the legs a little shake. Inhale, left foot on the chair. Exhale, hold position. Inhale, palms together, draw the palms apart. Exhale, bring the palms together, take them down to the mat. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, soften the elbows, ease into space. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, back to the lunge. Inhale, release, palms together, send the arms up. Exhale, lean to your right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, come up. Exhale. Do another round with fewer instructions. Open the heart. Exhale, bow to the earth. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, right leg lunge. Palms together. Reach for the chair. Exhale, soften. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release. Left leg lunge. Inhale, open. Exhale, close, hands down. Exhale, ease into space. Inhale, rise up. Release. Palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side stretch. Hands to heart. finish this part of the class with one last sun salutation, but the simple form without the lunge. Right about now you should be finishing that round. When you do, just release the hands, stand with the feet hip width apart. Take a moment to notice the sense of space that you've eased into in the whole of your body. And then give the arms and the legs a little shake, give the shoulders a shrug. Our last posture before our closing inversion is a balance. So you could turn the chair around or be next to a wall, because it's more important to succeed at balances than undo all the calm that you've created by becoming frustrated. So think of the chair or the wall as an insurance policy. At the same time, you can feel that you're rooting down to the earth through the feet hip width apart, really spreading the toes. And as you push down, also feeling that you're drawing up through the soles of the feet. So the leg muscles are engaged, both hamstrings at the back, quads at the front, and lower leg muscles. And the arches of the feet are lifting away from the floor. And as you do that, that activity of the legs draws up into the pelvic floor, which lifts slightly, lower abdominals engage, and you feel an energy line coming right up through the midline, through the crown of the head. We're going to place the hand together so that if you get confident with your balance, you can join the hands in front of the heart. Shift the weight into the left foot and allow the right knee to bend. And then turn the right knee out and just bring the toes of the left foot and right foot close together. Let your gaze be soft and downward and just pick a drishti, a looking point on the floor. Something that's not going to move. A steady, soft gaze, steady, soft breath. Engagement through the inner body, but softness in the outer body, the shoulders, the face. I'm really happy for you to work here. This is still a challenging balance. If you normally lift the leg in tree and can do so safely without placing the foot on the knee joint, then feel free to do that as long as you're not on a slippy surface and as long as you're not going to push yourself into doing a practice that might ease you out of space. So just a couple more steady, even breaths here. And then turning the right foot in, releasing the leg down, and just giving the arms and legs another little shake. If you're using a chair, you could just turn around. I'm going to turn my chair so I'm still facing the camera. So this time the weight is coming into the other foot. I'm opening the left hip, but just do your other side. Draw up from the ground, find that steadiness, that rooting down and lifting up combination. Find your breath, find your steady gaze. Keep the support of the chair or bring the palms together. And then at the end of the next exhale, turn the knee in, release the foot down, give the arms a little shake. And then make your way down to lying with your lower legs on the chair. If you have a yoga block, place that under the hips. Place the head on a blanket. And this should feel really comfortable. You've still got all the benefits of a mild inversion. The legs, the hips, the abdomen are all slightly higher than the heart. This is going to help with the return of the circulatory system, the blood back to the heart from through the veins, and particularly give a rest to the veins and the valves and the veins of the legs. Allow your eyes to close. Just maintain the same intention of equal inhale and exhale, but just the feeling of that rather than counting. And with this and other closing postures, we're easing ourselves into a space for our relaxation. We're winding down, we're sensing that we're integrating the benefits of the practices done so far and just completing everything with our final pose before we move into relaxation. So if you're finding this position to be very, very comfortable and you'd like to remain here for relaxation, please do so. Otherwise, coming into either usual Shavasana with the legs straight or semi-supine with the knees bent. And if you're in semi-supine, have the feet a little bit wider than hip width and rest the knees against each other, and that will help the legs to relax. And then in your relaxation position, keep the eyes closed, or if you're not closing the eyes, have a soft gaze up to the ceiling. And bring your awareness to what you are sensing in the whole of your body right now. In particular, notice how much ease, how much space you have already created in the physical body, in the breath, and in the mind. And then bring your awareness to your right foot. Notice the sensations in your right foot. And as you exhale, allow a sense of space and ease to come to the right foot. Have awareness of the whole of the right leg. And as you exhale, allow the right leg to feel spacious and relaxed. Awareness to the left foot. Notice the sensations there. And exhale, space and release to the left foot. Awareness to the whole of the left leg. And exhale, space and ease in the whole of the left leg. Awareness to both legs and all the sensations you feel there. And exhale, relax the legs into space and ease. Awareness to the right hand. Exhale, space and relax. Awareness to the whole of the right arm and right shoulder. Exhale, spaciousness and release. Awareness to the left hand. Exhale, spaciousness and release. Awareness to the whole of the left arm and left shoulder. Exhale, ease and space. Awareness to both arms and both shoulders. Exhale, ease and space. Be aware of the pelvis, the abdomen, the lower back, the rib cage, the upper back. Be aware of the whole of the torso, and as you exhale, allow the whole of the torso to release into space and ease. Awareness to the neck, the head and the face. Exhale, release. And awareness now to the whole of your body. Notice every sensation in your body, every point of contact to the earth. And for 3 more breaths, each time you exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper into a sense of space and ease. And now let your breath deepen. Move the fingers, wriggle the toes, and gently stretch into your arms and your legs in any way that feels good. And when you're ready, bend your knees, roll onto your side, and then make your way back up to sitting, either cross-legged on the mat with a block or anything you need under your hips, or back in the chair. Our final practice is to return to the integrated 3-part breath we did at the beginning. We're just going to revisit that and start ourselves off with those hand positions, breathing in to the diaphragm, feeling the lift of the rib cage with the intercostals and the lift of the collarbones at the end of our in-breath, and the exhale, extending the fingers, turning the palms in, and then taking another few breaths, finding a comfortable fullness of these 3 parts of the breath and easing them one into the other until they become this beautiful flowing integrated breath. And then the little challenge, if you like, of this final breathing practice is to invite your best expression of steadiness and flow and fullness. And this time we will use a little bit of counting. So as you breathe in, silently counting the breath. And as you breathe out, silently counting the breath out. And most of you will easily reach a count of 6 seconds that we were doing with the chimes. And some of you may get as high as 10. And if you are counting at a steady 1 second rate, and 10 seconds for your inhale and 10 seconds for your exhale, is a really full breath. That is 3 breaths a minute breathing rate. But whatever count you're getting to, just work with that for another 5 breaths. You've already completed your 5 breaths. Just sit quietly with the eyes closed and notice exactly what you feel in your body, your breath, and noticing the quality of your mind. And just notice, be aware of the fact that you can come into this inner space, you can create this space for yourself anytime you need it. And as we ease into our social space and external space, remember this could be a really handy tool for enabling you to operate very effectively when we get back out there. Okay, blinking open the eyes, bringing the palms together. Thank you very much. for joining me tonight.